have a problem in this country. We don't think about our savings holistically. We think about them in too many different pots. And that's why the Lifetime Savings Initiative was set up, so that you can bring together saving for the short term, thinking about buying a house, and also thinking about saving for your pension.
The Lifetime Savings Initiative was set up really in the cost of living crisis to try and think about what are the key pinch points that affect people, what are the root causes, and then look at solutions to be able to put those in place to help people have better short and longer term financial resilience. So the three key pinch points that came out of the extensive research that was done covering the whole of the UK over the last 18 months, the first was a lack of rainy day savings. People really struggle. 46% of the UK population have less than £1,000. That means that there's a 56% greater chance of them going into problem debt. That's a real issue. The second thing is people are struggling to get onto the housing ladder. And finally, the third thing really is how to save better and more for the long term.
So the purpose of the LSI is to bring together these different strands, so trying to address financial resilience and housing and saving for retirement.
And the LSI is important because if we don't act, nobody's going to change anything. And we can see the challenges which are being built up daily. So we wanted to try and focus on as many people as possible. So this is really what we talk about as a squeeze middle, that up to the £60,000 of salary, those people who can afford to be able to save just a little bit, but perhaps aren't saving enough to be able to deal with tomorrow's challenges. And I think that, when you look at it from that perspective, that accounts for roughly 80% of the population. And what we need to be able to do is to set up a long-term plan of how we get to sufficiency in terms of the savings. The proposals really fall down into two things.
The first is a national short-term savings plan, and that is all about creating a rainy day savings pot so that you can pay to have your boiler fixed or you can buy your children new school shoes. And this is initially going to have to be done on an opt-in basis. What we'd really like to do is encourage the government to make some legislative changes to mean this is opt-out. The pension trustee or the administrator chooses who the provider of the short-term savings plan will be. When you have reached that magic number, for example, £1,000 in your short-term savings plan, that the employer could then nudge you, the employee, into tipping a little bit more money into your pension on a monthly basis. And the second is a national lifetime savings plan, and that is about allowing earlier pensions flexibilities for a certain number of very specific reasons in advance of the current flexibility at 55. The National Lifetime Savings Plan, or the NLSP, breaks down into two stages. So we already have two ways that we can save into our pension. The first is your automatic enrolment contributions of 8%. And the second is you are already able to contribute additional voluntary contributions, or AVCs, into your pension pot. That's the first stage. The second stage that we're proposing is before you're 55, you are able to access your additional voluntary contributions, or your AVCs, either as a deposit for your first house or if you've fallen into serious problematic debt. Imagine a world where when you're 22 and you first have to start saving into a pension, that rather than feeling like you've locked that money up and you've thrown away the key and you can't even touch it for another 33 years, imagine a world where you're actually saving for something aspirational and that money could go into your first home. Just imagine what a difference that would make.
The difference this lifetime savings model could make is incredibly significant. It will help everyday people have that rainy day fund, building shorter term financial resilience. It will improve, therefore, the mental wellness of a large proportion of the population. And we now want to work with government as part of the second part of the pensions review and really look at how we can integrate this proposal within the existing automatic enrolment framework. This can really help everyday people, but importantly, head off some of the systemic risks which are clearly going to hit us and hit us in a big way. now is the time.